So thank you for sending your email asking me the question about how I did this tricycle shot with Tilly. So just briefly, I want to try to explain the ideas and theories behind why I chose to make the lighting decisions that I made to make that shot. So I want to explain the setup just a little bit here. So Tilly is here on this white stage against the gray and white striped wall. There is a 48-inch octabox basically here that is on a boom stand. It's on camera axis, to her. I'm shooting, like if this is the octabox here, she's here, I'm shooting right underneath this area here to her, okay? So why did I choose an octabox with one simple light? This is a very simple setup. Simplicity, yes, but there's actually a lot of things going on with the light theory that you need to understand. So just to rewind back a little bit about why I make those decisions. First is a lot of my lighting techniques and theories come from a guy named Dean Collins. Dean Collins is sort of known as the light master. He's a guru. Tons of photographers have been influenced by his theories and his innovations in lighting techniques and what he has taught generations of photographers. So basically, Dean has this one basic thing when he talks about setting up your lighting is called light controls. So basically, there are 5 values that you're trying to control for when you're doing your lighting. Those are the midtone values, the shadows, the highlights, the transitions between shadows and midtones, and the transition between highlights and midtones. So these 3 here are the big ones here. So obviously the shadow and the highlights are the extreme ends of your dynamic range of a particular image. You want to be able to have a light that allows you to get enough shadow detail without blowing out your highlights, especially important in digital photography, considering that blowing highlight, there's hardly any way to recover that. So the midtone value is the true value of what you're trying to shoot for. So basically, sort of what that value looks like when it's properly white balanced. And that depends on, of course, your lighting institute, what kind of lights you're using, and also if you're using lights at all. So once you have these controls here, you're able to understand what you want in terms of creating the light that you want, the quality of lights, those types of things. So if you want a very hard light, a more specular looking light, you want something that's further away from the subject, like the sun. You want something that is a little bit with no diffusion on it. There's no modifying aspect of it. It's actually changing the quality of the light that's coming out. If you want the opposite of that, you want something that's very soft, very diffused, something like a window light going through a sheer curtain or something like that. So you want something that's huge. You want something relative to the subject. You want it as big or bigger than the subject. You also want it maybe possibly some way to diffuse the light so the beams are not going directly at the person, but they're scattered. So it's very soft and not very contrasted, comparatively speaking, to a harder light. So this is the reason why you use soft boxes. Those are basically 1 or 2 diffusions of light that's coming in. Or if you bounce a light to a wall or into an umbrella, that's a form of diffusion as well. So basically, you're taking the light and you're spreading it and making it bigger than it actually is on its own. So using a 4-foot box, that's another decision. The size of the box is another decision I had to make in terms of this particular setup. Keeping her within 4 feet or 48 inches here. This is roughly about 48 inches here. Can't see it, but probably here. That's the distance that I needed to keep that soft box within so that she would remain in a more contrasty, more diffused, less contrasted state. This is the measure of the diameter or the length on the long end of your particular modifier determines the contrast point. Anything beyond that 48 inches will give me more of a contrasting image, no matter where I placed it. the further more further away, the more contrast to the light. This is basic inverse square law type stuff. So keeping that within that thing gives me a wraparound effect to the light. So I'm able to manipulate the shadows, and the transitions between the shadows and the midtones and the highlights to make it look more uniform, more flat. So that's what happens when you potentially bring in a light closer in. I can make a speed light look very much like a softbox if I can get it close enough to the subject. So that's the key thing that you have to sort of understand with your lighting, is how you manipulate these values to get the look that you want. So I hope that helps you understand how I got to this image and decisions I made with it. Okay?